Hey everyone, this is Paul Solomon. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Bringing Web, and today, together with the amazing team behind Crocoblock, I'm bringing you an advanced real-life like tutorial. We will be creating a complex travel agency booking website. We'll be using Crocoblock and the free version of Elementor. Let's get started. I'll quickly give you a rundown of what we're going to be building in this tutorial. This is a travel agency website that sells an assortment of tours in a wide variety of countries. On the homepage, scrolling past the full width slider at the top, you can see we have a list of popular destinations presented as some cards with images and the minimum price for the tours in that country. Scrolling further down the page, we have an About section, and under that we have a section with the most popular tours. I will now scroll back up the page to the list of destinations and I will click on the View More button. A new page has just loaded where we can see all the tours that are available in this country alone. On the left side we have a beautiful sidebar with some filters. We can use the range filter to narrow down the price. The view has automatically updated without refreshing the page. In the sidebar, a new section just appeared showing our active filters. We can press on the X button to dismiss that filter. We also have some checkbox filters for the number of people that can go in this tour as well as the tour duration. I will now scroll back up the page, and from the main navigation I will choose tours. This page is very similar with the one before, but instead of showing all the tours from a single country, it shows all the tours available on the website. On the left side we now have one more filter which allows us to filter for one or more countries. Moving back to the tours listing, you can see we have a very beautiful listing grid consisting of a featured image of the tour, the country, title of the tour, a short description, the number of days and the minimum age for this tour, and on the right side we have the price per person and the view details button. All that information is coming dynamically from our tour custom post type, which we'll get into in a bit. I will now press the view details buttons for one of the tours. On this new page we can see the single listing of this tour, starting with the featured image at the top, followed by the title of the tour, the price per person and the book a tour button. Under that we have some information about the tour, like the destination, departure and departure time, the return time and the dress code. Under that we have a gallery with a very short description and some images. Under the gallery we have the tour program, followed by another image, then some reviews for this tour, and finally the related tours. Once again, all that information is coming dynamically from our tour custom post type. I will now scroll back up the page and I will click the book a tour button. A pop-up with the booking form just appeared. You can see that inside the pop-up we use the same image as the featured image of the tour, also dynamically generated from the tour custom post type. Here we can fill in the info and then press the book a tour button to submit this form. This will then be visible inside of the dashboard, as well as sending an email notification to the user who have submitted it, letting them know it was successful. Having said that, let's jump into the WordPress dashboard and take a look on how we can build this very quickly using Elementor and Crocoblock. We are now inside of the dashboard and I will navigate to the plugins page to show you what plugins are in use for this website. Starting at the top we have the free version of Elementor, followed by an assortment of plugins from the Crocoblock package. I'll pause for a second so you can take a quick look at the list. Don't get discouraged by the relatively high number of plugins, as each one of them are there to solve a very specific need for our website, and all of them are part of the Crocoblock plugins family, except of Elementor of course. We can now get started with the first step of building this website, which is creating the 3 custom post types with the necessary fields on each. I will hover over JetEngine in the sidebar and I will choose post types. On this page we can start creating our first custom post type, so I will start by pressing the add new button. I'll provide a name which will be country, and for the slug it will be country but all lowercase. Then we do not need to edit the labels. I will move into the settings. Everything that is checked is okay. I will just rewrite the slug to country. Then I will select an icon from here. I want a globe. And under supports, I will also add an excerpt, thumbnail, and post formats. Great, now that we're done with that, we can actually go in and create all the custom fields that we need for the country post type. I'll scroll down and I will click on new meta field here. I will set the title of this first field to description. The name/ID I will do underline description. And for the type, I will choose text area. Great. I will then move on to the second field, which is minimal price. I'll click on new meta field. And for the title, I will do minimal price. And for the name ID, underline minimal underline price. And I will leave the type to text. We are now done with this custom post type, so I'll go to the top of the page and I'll click on Save Post Type. And we can see that the new post type has been created. The next step is to create a Tor custom post type, so I'll return to the post type menu and I'll once again press on the Add New. I'll name this one Tor. And for the select Tor but lowercase. Then under these options, I'll make sure that I check on hierarchical. For the menu icon, I will choose this one. And for sports, I have to add a few more. So we have the title, the editor, and we want comments. We want revisions. We want author, excerpt, page attributes, thumbnails, custom fields, and post formats. Great. Once this is done, I'll go ahead and create a custom meta fields. For this custom post type, we have quite a few of them, most of which are simple text fields, so I'll create those on fast forward and just pause on the ones that are not text. We have reached the first custom field that is not text, which is the gallery field, so I'll name this one gallery. For the name ID, I will do underline gallery. And for the type, I will choose gallery. And this will allow us to insert a gallery into our custom field. Moving on, a few more text fields. We have reached the last two custom fields, which are both a very interesting type called repeater. I'll start by creating the first one, which has the title of peoples. And the name, the same but lowercase and with an underline in the front. And now for the type, I will choose repeater. And you can see that we have a new section here called repeater fields. A repeater field is basically a container that holds multiple custom fields together and can be repeated as many times as needed for a Tor. For this repeater, we just need one field, which I will call people. I'll give it a name of underline people and a type of text. Great, we can now move on to the last repeater field, which is testimonials. So I'll click a new meta field here. For the title, I will do testimonials. And for the type, I will choose once again a repeater. And inside of here, we have a few fields. So the first one is an image. And I will set the type to media. Then the next one is name, which is text, followed by content, which is text area, and followed by position, which is text as well. So this repeater field will allow us to create the testimonials that I showed you before for each individual Tor. Now that these fields are also done, I can quickly explain which each field is used for. So starting at the top, the age is the minimum age of the person that can come on this Tor. Then this is the date of the Tor, the availability of the Tor, the price per person, a gallery for inserting some images, the number of days, the departure location, departure time and return time of the store, the dress code, number of people, the people repeater field, and the testimonials. Great, now that we understand what we use these fields for, we can go ahead and save these custom post types as well. So I'll scroll back to the top and I will choose add post type. The next thing that we need to do is create a post relationship between tours and countries. Each country can have multiple tours, but each tour can only be assigned to a single country, meaning that we have a one-to-many relationship between countries and tours. This is important for later when we show the listings on the website and also for filtering. So I will click on JetEngine and I will choose the post relation menu. From the new page here, I'll click on add new. I will name this country tours. So for the parent, we want to set the country custom post type because that's the parent post type. And for the child, I will choose tour. And then I will change the relation type from one-to-one to one-to-many, meaning that each country can have many tours, but each tour is only assigned to a single country. We can leave this post checked and I will just click at the top on add relation. Now, if we go back to the page, we can see we have our relation here and we have also a meta key, which is important for later when we design the filters. Now that this is done, we just have to create one more custom post type. So I'll go back to the post types menu and I'll click on add new. I will name it booking order and I'll give it a slug. Now, this custom post type is a bit different from the other two because the first two will be displayed on the website for the users to see. And this one will only be accessible from the dashboard because this custom post type will actually store the entries from our booking form. So when someone books a tour on the website, all the information they inserted will get inserted into this custom post type. So we need to change a few settings here. First, we do not want it to have publicly queryable. And we also don't need any of these. I'll rewrite the slug. I will also tick this to no. I'll provide an icon, the cart one, and I will remove the editor because we do not need it, we only need the title. Then we need to add some meta fields. Once again, most of them are just text, so I'll do them on fast forward and then I'll just pause when we have a few special ones. And we have reached our more special meta field. So I will name it selected tour. I will give a name / ID of tour ID. And then here for the type, I will choose posts. And for the post type, I will choose tour. That means that this custom field here, the selected tour one, will store the tour ID from our tour custom post type. It's a bit of a relation between them and it will become much more clear when we actually build the booking form itself. Under this, we also have the admin columns, which we will add a few. This is quite similar to the meta fields. I'll show you the first one. So I will just title it name. For the type, I will leave it on meta value. And here for value from meta field, I will choose underline name. Basically, this means that in this column that has title of name, we will display the value from the meta field underline name, which is our first meta field here because we have underline name. So I will repeat this process for all of the fields except the last one, the selected tour one. And here for number of persons, for the value suffix, I will do persons. You will see why in a bit. Moving on. And here for the Tor price, we will do a value prefix of the $sign. You will see in a minute what we use these admin columns for. So now that the columns are done and the meta fields are done as well, we can go back to the top and add this post type. So we can see we have all our post types here on the left sidebar. And now I want to show you what the admin columns fields were actually for. So if I hover over booking order and I choose booking order here, you can see we have the table here where we will have our booking orders once we actually insert one. And instead of just having the default title and date, we also have all these fields that we've created before, like name, mail, phone, travel date, number of persons, Tor name, and Tor price. And these columns will allow us to have some information at a glance about the booking order instead of having to go inside of the actual booking order to see all of this. It will make much more sense when we actually fill it in. Amazing, we're done creating all the custom post types with the custom fields and we'll soon move into Elementor to build the actual views for them. But before that, we also want to build a booking form so we can populate the booking order custom post type with information that the user fill in on the website when booking a tour. So I will navigate to JetEngine and I will choose booking forms. Now here I will press the add new button and I will name this booking form number 1. And I will proceed to create the fields for our form. I will first delete these 2 default ones. And I'll start from scratch. So I will add the first field. And for the type, I will choose hidden. Then for the name, I will choose Tor ID. And for the field value, I will choose current post ID. So this will populate this field in the form with the ID of the current post. So I'll click on apply changes and I will add another one. The type and field type is okay to be text and I will name this name and I will also provide a placeholder name and this for required. All right. The next one is email. So I will add a new one. And for the type, I will choose text, and for the field type, I will choose email. I'll give it a name. And for the placeholder, I will do email. Next up is phone. So I will have the type to text and the field type to tel from telephone. I will name this phone. Give it a placeholder and apply the changes. Then I will add a new one. I'll change the type to date and I'll give it the name of travel date and apply the changes. Then I will do the person field. So I will choose here for the type select. For the name, I will choose person. And here I will fill options from meta field. And the meta field is people's, the field that we've created before for this booking form. And I will also provide a placeholder. And I will click on apply changes. Great. Now I will do the submit button. So I'll click on add submit button here. And for the label, I will just do book a tour. And click on apply changes. We don't need any custom CSS class for this. Then I will create a new field. For the type, I will do calculated. For the name, I will do price. And now here for the calculation formula, it's very simple. We just need to do the meta exactly like it's written here. So this little formula over here, meta price, will get the price from the Tor that we will write on the Tor custom post type. And then we will multiply that with the field person from this booking form. So this will take the price per person from the Tor and we'll multiply it with the person field from this booking form, and we will get the final price for all the persons. I'll remove this here, we don't need any. I'll click on apply changes. We have one more to create, so I will click on add field. For the type, I will choose hidden. The name will be name of tour. And for field value, I will do current post title this time. I'll click on apply changes. Great. Now all the fields for the booking form are done, so we can move into the notification settings. We already have one called send mail. I will just click on here. So we want to send an email to email from submitted form field, and the field is email. So this basically means that we want to send an email to the email address that was filled during this booking form. So it's a notification for the person that filled in the booking that it was okay and that we've received it. So for the subject, I'll just leave new order on website. For name, I will just do Crocoblock, and from address, I'll do info@crocoblock.com. Crocoblock. Great. Now for the content. So here we can write anything we want, and we have these macros here. This means that, for example, if we do dear name like this, whatever the person who filled in the booking form put in the field name will be put here. So if they put Paul, like myself, I will receive an email with dear Paul and the rest of the content. So I'll already have here a body text. So it's dear name, you have successfully booked name of tour. So we will receive the name of the tour from this macro and with the word tour after. Then the order details, the date, which will take the travel date, the number of persons and total price. And just our manager will contact you soon. Have a nice day. So this is done. For email sending, I will just click on apply changes. But we want to add one more notification here. So I will click on add notification. I will edit it and I'll change the type from send email to insert post. And for the post type, I will choose booking order. So this is why we have created a booking order custom post type, because everything that gets filled in on the booking form by the user will get inserted into one of our fields in the booking order custom post type. So we can quickly go and see the entries. So now I will do here like this. So we want to insert the name field from our form into the underline name field from our booking order. And I will do the same for all of them. This means that every field from here, so the phone field from the form, will get inserted into the phone field from the booking order. That's all we have to do, so I will just click on apply changes. Then for the messy settings, we don't need to mess with them, the defaults are totally fine. So I can go ahead and save this booking form. But before doing that, I just want to show you a nifty little trick. So we have here at the end of each field, like these little arrows, and what we can do is actually drag this and we can rearrange how we want the form to look like directly from here. So I can do like this, and I can drag them around. That means that when we insert this form into Elementor, the fields will be exactly like here. But for our purpose, we don't want that, so I will just reset it to all 100% width, so full width. But it's just a little trick that I wanted to let you know about. So I will now click on publish, and we have published our post, which is actually the booking form. So I'll return to JetEngine and I'll click on booking forms again, and we can see that we have our booking form here and was published 1 minute ago. So now that our booking form is complete, we can go ahead and create the listings in Elementor. But before doing that, I want to actually fill in the tour and the country custom post types with some entries. So I'll first go to country and I will click on the add new button. I'll provide a title. I'll write Poland. Then I will give it a short description. I already have it written out, so this is the description. And I'll do the minimal price and I will write 120. Then I will go ahead and expand the featured image here. I'll click on set featured image. I'll search for my image, which is this one, and I will click on select. And I will also expand the excerpt and I will provide an even shorter description. And now this country is done, so I'll just click on publish. And I will click again to confirm. And now this is live, so I can go back to the countries list and you can see that we have Poland here. I'll quickly add the others so we don't waste any time with this. Alright, so now we have 16 countries added and we can go ahead and add a tour. So I'll go under tour and tour here. And on this new page, I will click on add new. So we can start filling this in. So I will provide the title. This is tours for Blue Lagoon. Then I will quickly create the tour program in Gutenberg. I'll do this on fast forward because it's pretty straightforward. We just type the text and add some headings. Alright, great. So we now have the tour program added here. It's just some headings and some body text. Then we can go and fill in the custom post types that we've created. So the minimum age for this tour is 6. So I'll just write it here. Then the date is May, June, and July. Availability is 40. The price for this tour is $640. Then for the gallery, I will just click on choose media and you see that the media library opens. So I will choose 2 images. This one and this one. You can see that we have both of them selected. So I'll just click on choose media. Accidentally added one more, so I'll just delete it. Now the number of days is 4. Departure is from the main square Old Town. Now do the departure time, the return time, and the dress code is casual. Number of people is 2. And then here we will add the actual options. So we can have 1 person or 2 persons. And then of course we can start adding some testimonials. As you can see, these are the repeater fields. So when I click on add item, we have the 4 fields that we've chose before. So we have the image. I'll just click here on choose media and I will choose the first image. Then we have the name of the person. Then the description. And then the position, which is founder and CEO. I will add one more. Great, we can add more if we want, but for the purpose of this tutorial, I will not do it anymore. Now we can go to the right side and click on set featured image, and I will choose an image. And I'll then click on select. And we also want to paste in an excerpt. Great, and now here comes in the post relation that we've defined before. So you can see we have here select country, set parent country. So if I click on this, I can start searching for a country. This store is from Germany, so I'll just type Ger. And we have Germany showing up. I'll just click on it. And now this store is related to this country, to Germany. And you can see that I don't have the option to add any other countries because a tour can only be assigned to a single country. So having said that, this is done as well. So I'll just go ahead and click on publish at the top and confirm. So if I go back to the list, we have our tour added here. Once again, I'll add a bunch more tours, and I'll do this instantly because we don't want to waste time adding a lot of them. Alright, so I have added 73 more tours, and now we have a bunch of tours and a bunch of countries to work with. So we can now go ahead and start creating our listings. So we can now go ahead and create the listings. If you don't know what the listing is, it's basically what I showed you on the homepage, the one with the little cards with the countries and the tours. We need those in order to go over all our custom post types and display them on the front end in a grid. So now I'll go over JetEngine and I'll click on listings. And on this page, I'll click on add new to create our first one. The source will be posts, and from post type, we want to create the first one for countries. So I'll choose here country, and then I'll give it a name. I will name it listing country layout 1. And I'll click on create listing item. So we are now inside of Elementor when we can start creating our listing. So I'll start by adding a new section. I'll make the content full width, change the column gap to no gap, and choose a mean height of 240 pixels. And I want the column position to be set to middle. Then I'll go over to style. For the background type, I will choose classic. And then for image, I will click on this little dynamic link. And from JetEngine, I will choose custom image. Then I'll click inside of this box here where it says custom image. And for the field, I will choose post thumbnail. And you can see that a post thumbnail has loaded for this. Then I'll change the position to center. And I will change the size to cover, so it looks a bit better. Then I'll go over to the background overlay. I will choose classic, I'll do black and drop the opacity to 0.4. After that, I'll go over to the border. I will not create a border, but I will just do a border radius of 20 to round up the corners a little bit. Then I will select the column inside of this section and I'll set the widget space to 0. Now I will drag in the first widget, which is a spacer, and I'll make it 30 pixels. Then I'll go and I'll search for dynamic link widget, this one over here, and I'll drag it under the spacer. Now for the source, I'll leave permalink, meaning that it will link to this certain post. But for the label, I will delete read more, and you can see we have some macros that we can use. And I want to use the macro title, like this. And this returns the post title of this certain listing. Then I will align it to center. And because we don't want this tutorial to be overly long, I will just paste the style from something that I've already created. So I'll just right click on paste style. It's basically just the styling, so just we've made it white and a bit bigger. We don't want to waste time with this because we still have a few things to cover. So under this, I will add another spacer. I'll make it 40 pixels in size. Then under the spacer, I will add a dynamic field widget, this time not a dynamic link. I'll go to style and center align it just so we see what we work with, and I'll also make it white. Alright, so for the source, we want to change this to metadata, and then I have to provide a key, and I will use minimal price, which will return the value that we've stored inside of the minimal price field when we've created this country. And to make this a bit nicer, I'll go here at the bottom and I'll click on customize field output, and you can see we have this %s. Whatever the value of this field is, it will be inserted where %s is. So what we want to do is in front of this write from space and then the $sign. So now it says from $120. Then once again, I will just paste style to style this a little bit. And we can go ahead and create our last widget. So I will search for dynamic link once again. I'll leave the source to permalink and I'll change the label to view more. And I'll once again just quickly paste the style. So we've styled this to look like a button. Okay, so our first listing is done. It might not look like much, but I'll show you a little trick. So if we go here to settings and under listing settings, we have a preview width option. And on the home page, if you remember, we've had this listing in a 5-column grid, not in this 1-column very large grid. So here for the preview width, I'll just enter a number that's close to that, and I think it's like 200 pixels. That's right. So this is how this will look like on the home page. So having said that, this is done, so I can just click on publish. And our listing item is now live, so we can go ahead and create the second one. So now I'll click again on add listing. I'll choose country once again because we want to create another one for countries. And I'll name this listing country. I'll click on create listing item. Now this is going to be very similar to what we've had before, but we'll also have the excerpt. So I'll do some things on fast forward so we don't waste a ton of time with it. So you can see that until now it's pretty much the same, it's just a bit higher in height and the title is also a bit larger, but it's the same, a dynamic link with a permalink to the actual country. Now I will add a dynamic field here. And this is what it's new. I'll choose here post term data, but instead of taking the title, I'll choose excerpt. And this just returns that very short description that we've provided for this country. I will also paste the style to make it look a little bit better. Great, there we go. And now we just have to copy and paste the price and the view more button. So I'll just paste them in. They're exactly the same as the other listing, so there's no point in wasting any time with them. Great, so now this is done as well, and I can show you the preview for this. If I go here to listing settings, you know that before we've used a 200 pixel preview because we've used them for a 5-column grid. Now we will use it in a 2-column grid. So the preview width will be somewhere in the neighborhood of 460 pixels. So this is how this card looks like with the excerpt in the middle. I think it looks great and I can go ahead and publish this. Great, so the listing is live and we can now go ahead and create the last 2 of them, which are for tours. So I'll return to the listing panel and I will click here on add new. Now for the listing source, once again post, but this time instead of choosing country, we will choose tour for our post type. And I'll name this listing tour layout 1. I'll click on create listing item. So I will start by creating a new section, this one with 3 columns inside of it. I leave it to box, everything default here. And I'll just go to advanced and I'll make sure that the margin and padding is 0 all around. Then I will select the first column. I'll go once again to advanced and make 0 margin and 0 padding. And inside of here, I will drag in an inner section widget. I'll delete the second column because we don't need it, only the first one. For the height, I will choose min height. And I will choose 260 pixels. Then I will go here to style and I will choose a dynamic image with a custom image coming from JetEngine. And we will put the post thumbnail. Right, now I will do the position center and this size to cover. So it now fits inside of here. Then I will select the second column. I'll go over to the widget space and I'll set it to 0. I will also make it 45% in width to make it a bit larger. And I'll make sure the vertical align is set to middle. Then I'll go over to the advanced tab and I will unlink the padding values. And I'll do 10 padding to the top, 40 to the right, 10 to the bottom, and 20 to the left. Then I can add the first widget inside of this column. So I'll go to the widgets and I'll search for dynamic field. I'll change the post turn data to metadata. And for the meta field, I will choose here parent country. Then I have to go under filter field output. And for the callback function, I will choose related posts list. You can see that we now have the parent country here. And I will just change the related list HTML tag to div. And I will also check this to no, add links to related posts. Then I will just paste the style. And now this is done as well. Then I'll go and add a dynamic link widget. The source can be permalink, but the label will be once again a macro and this title. And I will paste the style. Now under this we want yet another dynamic field. And from the post term data, I will choose excerpt. I will check hide div value is empty and I will paste the style. Then under this, we want to add in an intersection widget. And I will delete the second column. We just need one of them. And under here, I will add a dynamic field. I'll change the source to metadata, and for the field key I will do days. I will also choose an icon, this one here, and I will click on customize field output, and I will write days after this. I'll now go under advanced, custom positioning, and for the width I will set it to inline auto. And then I will paste the style. It's basically just adding a little bit of padding and a little bit of space between the icon and the text. Now I will right click on this and click on duplicate to create one more. And here I'll change the meta field key to age, the field format to like this, +6 age. I'll also change the icon to this one. And then I'll go under advanced, I'll link the margin values, and I'll give it a left margin of 10 to pull it a bit apart from the other one. Great, so this column is done as well. We just have one more, so I'll select the column, and for the widget space, I'll do 0. Also, I set the vertical align to middle. Then I'll go under style, border. I will choose a border type of solid. Then I will unlink these values. I just want to add 1 pixel to the left. And I will provide a color, which is DFE4E9. Then I'll add a dynamic field. I'll choose here metadata. And for the key, I will do price. Then I'll check hide div value is empty, and I will also customize the field output. I'll just put a $sign in front of it. Then I will filter the field output, and for the callback, I will choose format number. And the defaults are perfectly fine. Then I'll copy and paste the style. Under this, I will add a heading. And I will write per person and just paste this style. And finally, I will add a dynamic link. I'll leave the source to permalink and I'll write here view details. And finally paste the style. So our first store listing is done. I can go ahead and click on publish. And we can go and create the last listing that we need. So I'll click on add new. Once again, listing source posts from post type tour. And this will be listing tour. and I will click on create listing item. So in order to not waste any more time with this, I have already created the listing tour. It's basically the same fields as before, but just a bit rearranged in another format. This is because when we will use this on the website, it will look something like this. You can build it exactly the same like before, but just in a different layout. So the image is at the top, we don't have the age and the tour duration, but we have this little excerpt here. And yeah, this is done now, so I can just publish it. And I can go back to the listings. And you can see that we have all 4 listings here. Now, the next thing that we need to do is to create the filters. But before doing that, I'll go to the post relations that we've created before, the country tours. And I will just copy this meta key from here. And then I'll go under smart filters. And at the top, I will click on add new. So the first filter that we want to create is for the countries, which is a checkbox filter. So I'll name this country checkboxes. Then I'll provide the filter label and the active filter label. Then for the filter type, I'll choose here checkbox list. And for the data source, I will choose posts. And the post type, countries. So basically this will create a checkbox for each country that we have. And for the actual filters to work, we need to provide here a query variable that we will use to filter on. And in case of this, because it's based on the relationship between countries and tours, I will just paste in that key that we've taken from the post relation. Yeah, so this is done, so I can click on publish. And I can add another filter. This will be for the tour duration. I'll also provide the label and the active filter label. And now for the type, I will choose check range, which is basically a range of checkboxes. So I'll click here on new option and the min value will be 2, max value 3. Then I'll do this all the way up to 7. So now the users can choose any of these options, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, and so on until 6 to 7. Then for the 1000 separators, I'll choose non-breaking space. The others are okay. And for the query variable, so we want this to be filtered based on the days field in our tours. So this filter will take the value from this check range and it will compare it with the days variable inside of our tour custom post type. Great, so this is done as well. I can go and click on publish. And I will add one more filter. This filter is for people. The labels are the same. And it's once again a check range filter. This time we only go up to 6. Like this. And for the query variable, it's people. So once again, this filter will take any of these values and compare it with the people field in our tours custom post type. So this is done as well. I'll just click on publish and we have the last filter. I'll click on add new. This is for the price. And for the filter type, I will select a range, which is that slider. For the value prefix, I will do the $sign. I'll use a non-breaking space for the 1000 separator. Then the minimum value is 100. The maximum value is 1000. And the stop is 10. Meaning that we can only filter by a stop of 10. So 110, 120, 130, and etc. And for the query variable, I will do underline price. And I'll go back to the top and click on publish. So now if we visit the filters page again, we have the 4 filters that we need. And we're now basically set up to create the listings on the home page and on the other pages. So I will go over to pages, all pages, and I will edit the home page. So we are now inside of Elementor, and you can see that the whole page is created except for the actual listings. I don't want to waste any time creating the page because this is basic Elementor work, just headings, text, and some images. So we'll start by creating the popular destinations. So I'll search here for listing grid, and I will drag it inside under this title. And now just by changing a few options, we'll have the beautiful listings on our homepage. So here under listing, I will click and you can see we have the 4 listings that we've created before. And we want to use the listing country layout 1, which is the first listing that we've created. And I want to change the columns number from 3 to 5 and the post number to 10. So now I have a grid of 2 rows with 5 columns each displaying our countries beautifully with the featured image, the title, the minimum price, and a link to the actual country. I'll then scroll further down the page, and for the popular tours, I'll insert another listing grid. Then for the listing, I'll choose listing tour, which is this one. I will make it 2 columns. And I want to show just 4 posts. The listing grid now displays 4 popular tours with all the information coming dynamically from our tour custom post type. Now this is done as well, so I will just update the homepage. And I will return to the dashboard. And now I will edit our listing tours page. And you can see that this page is pretty much empty, it just shows the header and the footer, so we can start creating it. I'll start by filling in the left columns, which are the filters, so I will search for the active filters widget. And for show active filters 4, I will choose JetEngine because that's what we're using. Apply type Ajax, meaning we don't refresh the page, and the label is okay to be active filters. Then I'll just paste the style from my design. And we have the beautiful filters here. Then the next thing is to add a checkbox filter. So I will put it inside of here and I have to select the filter. We have only one, the country checkboxes. So I will click on that. You can see we have a list of all of our countries. Then I'll do once again that this filter is for JetEngine, apply type Ajax and apply on value change. So it will filter automatically when we click on it. And I also want to check on show filter label to show country at the top. And I will paste the style to make this look nice. Great, look how beautiful it looks. Okay, the next one is the range filter. And we have a single range filter, which is for price. This filter is for JetEngine, Ajax, and on value change. I will show the filter label. And I will paste in the style. Then we have to add in 2 more filters. So I'll search for check range filter. I'll choose the tour duration. Filter is for JetEngine. I want to show the filter label and I'll paste the style. Then I'll right click and duplicate this and I'll change the top one from tour duration to people. And just like that, we have our filters in place. I'll just give this a 10 pixel margin to the top and our filters are done. Now we want to display on the right side our listings. So I'll search for the listing grid once again. And now for the listing, I will choose listing tours layout 1, which is our 3 column layout. And for the column number here, I will change it to 1. And you can see it's the exact same design that we've created before, but it repeats over all of the countries. And we only want to do one more thing here, which is to add the pagination, so we can switch between the pages of the tours. So I'll search for the pagination widget, and I'll add it at the bottom. Pagination for JetEngine, apply type Ajax, because we don't want a refresh. And all I will do is just paste the style. Then under controls, I'll change item center offset to 1, and I will delete item edge offset. I don't want anything in here. So now our pagination is done as well. So are the filters and the listing of the tours. So I can just click on update. And now if I go to preview these changes, you can see that we have our page done with all the hover effects on the listings. We can filter by country, can filter by price, by the number of people. We have nothing in this range, so I'll just delete the price. We have one more. And of course, we have the pagination at the bottom that allows us to change the pages without refreshing. Now I'll exit back to the dashboard, and I will edit the listing country page. This page is just the larger version of the popular destinations on the home page. So I'll search for listing grid. For listing, I will choose listing country, which is the layout that also has the excerpt. Columns number, it's okay to be 3, and we want to show 9 posts. And this page is done as well, just like that. In 3 clicks, we've inserted the countries. So I'll click on update. I will return to the dashboard. And now we have basically 2 more pages to build. I will not show them step by step because it takes quite a bit of time. They are not complicated, but they are time consuming. So I'll just explain how they look like. So I'll go under Crocoblock and on my library. Here you can see we have our headers and our footer, but we also have 2 single pages, one for the tour and one for the country. So I'll start with the country one. I'll just click edit with Elementor and I'll explain what this is. So you can see at the top we have a section that has the post thumbnail as the custom image background. And we also have a dynamic field widget which takes the title of this country and displays it at the top. Under this, we have the description of the country, not the excerpt, which is the shorter version of the description, but the full-blown description from the description field that we've created. Then under here, we have this title that says all tours in Turkey. This is created with a dynamic field widget, and it says all tours in and %s, which we'll put in the value. It's just like we've created before for the listings, so very straightforward now. Then we have the filters. It's the exact same setup that we've created on the other page, except this time we don't have the country filter because we do not need it, because we only show the entries in this country. And then once again, we have the listing grid with listing tours layout 1 and the pagination. So it's the exact same setup as on the other page. We just have this at the top, showing a bit of information about this country, and we do not have the country here in the filters. One more thing that it's important to show here is that on this listing grid, I'll go on under post query. And you can see that here we have set advanced query parameters. And if I open this up, the type is set to post parameters, and it says include post by IDs. And we have this scary looking string, which actually just says related children from tour. So it means that in this grid, we want to display all the related children of type tour for this country. So if we had another type of children for the country custom post type, we would just change this to something else. But because we just have tour, Here we just say bring all the related children that are of type Tor from the country. Very simple. And also get posts with status publish. We only want to see the publish posts. So this is the single template for countries. Very straightforward. I'll just click on update and I will exit back to the dashboard. I have one more to show you, which is the single for the Tor. So I'll click edit with Elementor. Now this one is a bit on the larger side, but it's still very straightforward and very easy to create. We start with a section at the top and with an inner section inside of it that has the background image set to custom image post thumbnail, the same that we've did before. Then we have another section with an inner section. On the left side, we have a dynamic field that takes the title and another dynamic fields that take the price. Then on the right side, we have a button, which is just styled to look the same as the website. It says book a tour. And under advanced for this button, under Jet pop-up, we have an attached pop-up to this button. So this will open a pop-up for booking this tour. So it's just the pop-up selected here and the trigger type is click on widget. Then under this, we have just some basic information. It's just some headings. And on the other side, some dynamic fields with the departure, return time, departure time, dress code, everything. And just here for destination, we use the meta field parent country or the relation key that we've used before, because we want to display the related country of this store. And when we do this, it's very important that we filter the field output to a related post list and to set this as a div. Then under here, we have a heading that says gallery, then a dynamic field with the excerpt, then a dynamic field which uses the meta field gallery. And then we filter the field output to image gallery slider. Just one slide to show and the image size. For this particular example, we don't have any images. That's why it looks like this. And under this, we have the post term data content. It's another dynamic field. Then a dynamic image taking the post thumbnail. Then some reviews, which are just a testimonial that's taking this dynamically from the repeater field name testimonials that we've created before. And then each field is declared here, that for the image, we want to use the image field, for the comment, we want to use the content, for the name, and for position. And then here at the bottom, we have related tours, and we just need to set the listing to listing tour and to display just 2 columns with 2 posts. This is the single page for the tours. So I'll just click on update. And there's one final thing I have to show you, which is the actual pop-up for the booking form. So I'll go under Jet pop-up, all pop-ups. And you can see we have here booking form number 1 pop-up. We have no condition selected because we trigger it by pressing the button on the single tour page. So I'll just click edit with Elementor. And we are now inside of the Crocoblock pop-up builder. If I click here on the settings, we have some settings for the pop-up and also some for the style of the pop-up, like the overlay. We can choose the opacity, just like that. And then this is basically just made out of 2 columns inside of a bigger section. On the actual section, under style, we have the post thumbnail set as the background. We don't see it because we don't have it inside of this preview. Then here at the top, we just have a dynamic field which takes the price from the metadata, and it has this icon of a ticket. And we also customize the field output to $, the field and then 0.00. Then under this we have just a heading that says book this store, and under we have a booking form widget that we've just selected our form that we've created before in the JetEngine. Submit type Ajax, and without having to change any settings, this is how this looks like. It's just styled a bit, but it's very straightforward. And this is basically the booking pop-up. It's very easy to create, just 2 columns, a form inside of it, an image, a heading, and that's all. So I'll click on update. I'll return to the dashboard. And once again, I'll give you a quick rundown of what we've created in this tutorial. So I'll return to the website. So starting on the home page, we have here the popular destinations, which we display using a listing grid that goes over all of our countries that we've inserted into our custom post type country. And it's using the listing that we've created before to style how this looks like. Then under we have the popular tours, which similar to the countries, it just goes over all the tours. It displays 2 of them using the listing that we've created for this type of display. Now going back to the top, if I click on destinations, we have the bigger view of the countries using still the same listing grid going over all the countries. But this time it uses the other listing template that we've created, the one that includes the excerpt here. Then we have the tours page with all the filters, a listing grid that goes over all the tours in our tour custom post type, and it uses the other listing template that we've created, the one with the 3 columns. Then on the left side, we use the filters that we've created inside of Smart Filters in Crocoblock. That allows us to quickly filter by country, price, number of persons, and tour duration. And it does so using Ajax, so it doesn't refresh the page and it looks very professional. Then we have the tour details, which is the single template for this tour. Just like I showed before with the gallery, the tour program, the reviews that are coming dynamically, and the related tours. Of course, we have the book a tour button that opens up our pop-up. You can see on the left side we have half of the image, and on the right side we have the price per person and the form that we've created inside of JetEngine that we can use to book a tour. Then we have all tours for destination, which is basically the view for the country. So this is for Germany. And we have all the tours in Germany. It looks exactly the same like the all tours page, but we are missing the country filters because of course we are already on a single country. And last but not least, let's just see how the booking works. So I'll go over back to some tour details and I'll click book a tour. Then I'll provide a name, an email address, a phone number, travel date, and for 4 persons, and I'll click on book a tour. It says that form was successfully submitted, so I can exit. Now I can go back to the dashboard. I'll go under booking order, and you can see we have booking order number 1524, and it has the exact information that I just filled in: the name, the mail, the phone number, travel date, tour name, and the tour price for the number of persons. And this email, paul@test.com, just received an email that I will just show you. This is how it looked like. New order on website. Dear Paul, you have successfully booked CK's tour, this is the name of the tour. And then the order details, the date, number of persons, the price. So having said that, this tutorial is done. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you really learned something new out of it. If you have any questions, please go in the comment section down below. I'll hang around and I'll try my best to answer your questions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon.